ruling All Progressives Congress has won all 18 chairmanship positions in the Cross River State local government elections held on November the 2nd. The chairman of the State Electoral Commission and the election's returning officer, Dr. Ikwen, declared the results at the commission's headquarters in Calabar the next day, November 3, 2024, and the winners have since received their certificates of return. The state electoral chairman expressed hope that the newly elected local government helmsman would align with his people's first agenda for the state. Barrister Aniah Ikwen joins us from our Abuja studio to discuss council election in Cross River State, with a focus on the performance of parties and why the APC swept the polls. Good afternoon and welcome to Newsday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Temito.
Good afternoon. So, what are your thoughts on the recently concluded local government polls in Cross River State? Would you say it was free and fair?
Well, to call it an election, I don't think it falls rather short of any standard you can call election. Right from the primary election, which was done by the All Progressives Council, All Progressives Congress for the local government council election. It will be interesting to note that two of the aspirants were in court, but I think one has signified his intention to withdraw from the suit. But one is still carrying on with the lawsuit. It was highly dissatisfactory. That's to say the least.
Well, the APC, won in all 18 local governments in the state. What do you think was responsible for this?
The same thing we are talking about. There was no election. Materials were released, from what I gathered. Materials were released, taken to various areas, and persons brought it on print, results filled and submitted. And then persons declared. That was it. There was no election.
So are you expecting, a flurry of court cases over this election that you say was unsatisfactory? And do you think that justice will indeed be obtained from the courts?
Well, from what I see, I'm not expecting a flurry of cases, because the mentality back home is that this is a state election. It depends on however the state wants. That's how it's being done. So we're not expecting any post-election litigation. The ones we are in court over pre-election litigation, where aspirants of the same APC were dissatisfied with the way the nomination was done. Under the APC Constitution, Article 20 specifically, nomination for any position is done either through direct primaries, indirect primaries, or through consensus. If you say it was done through consensus, the parameters of consensus were never met. There was no primaries. The nomination, it was just, you just put anybody's name there you like. That was it.
So do you think, that democracy might be under threat in Cross River State, seeing as it seems that only one party is dominating at all levels? What are your thoughts on this?
To tell you the truth, we are not practicing democracy. This is authoritarian rule. This is not democracy. Democracy is all about participation, popular participation, participation by the people. Democracy, in ordinary parlance, is called government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Since it's government of the people, it ought to be for the good of the people. Since it's for the people and by the people have to be participants. You have to allow the people to participate, especially at the lower level, at the lower end, which is the local government election. It is the people that they know, that they see, that they trust. Allow them, allow the process. It could still be the same person you want, but allow the process to produce the person. Let it be a seamless process. Once it's done like that, nobody will complain.
Since they're not expecting a flurry of court cases, that means to a very large extent, the election stands. So what are your expectations from this new chairman, especially in boosting the governor's People's First agenda in the state?
Well, I have no expectation. I only hope that they'll do well for the people. It is the government closest to the people. The people deserve to be treated right. The people deserve to feel the impact of governance. That's the very least. That's the very basic they should do. I'm not expecting anything because most of the candidates or most of the chairmen now are probably products of patronage. You could call it patronage. They didn't go through any popular electoral process where you say people screen them and then they are voted in. No, they didn't.
So how do we change this narrative, where we complain about the election process, that bring in people into office? How do we change the process and make it more transparent, free and fair, for all participants?
Under the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, which we are practicing today, the drafters of the Constitution had good intentions when they said elections at the for local governments should be conducted by the state government. But unfortunately, instead of conducting an election, it is used as an instrument of oppression to now appoint or select whoever he wants to sit on that position. So I think the only way out is to have a body, maybe at a body such like INEC, or bring back the local government elections to be conducted by INEC. And then let's see. To a large extent, at least elections conducted by INEC, to a very large extent, they meet standard, though there are lots of complaints. But you could still see that there's a deliberate attempt to democratize.
Well, finally, Barrister, as local governments have now been granted financial autonomy, what measures do you think should be put in place to ensure transparency and accountability at the grassroots level?
The people themselves will hold you accountable. You don't even need to put any measures. So long as the local governments are elected democratically, the people will hold you accountable. But where they are not elected democratically, they have somebody they are responsible to. So the only way to ensure that accountability comes into play here is to ensure that power truly comes back to the people. That's all.
Barrister Aniah Ikwen, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.